We are broadcasting, everybody. Hi, this is Steve Olson with WSO, and I have my special honored guest, Alex Lujan from Planet X. What's going on, Alex?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself, Steve? Honored to be on here.
Great. And then we also have Nibiru Watcher. Jeff P is on, and we're going to talk through the week. We're also trying to get Bobby V on from Maverick, Relentless Maverick channel. And, you know, you never know where one of these shows might go.
How's it going?
Anyway.
How's it going, Jeff?
It's going good.
Hey, listen, so what the subject matter is we're going to kind of review the week. And what I wanted to do is just start out with a couple of really amazing photographs, Alex, that you provided to me. And I don't even really know what to say about them. Why don't you walk us
through what it was? Mainly what it was. So, okay, I'm pretty sure you got the email about some of the instruments being down, that they've been down since the 25th. So I went to go check out the instruments to see myself, but they were down. And this was the very first photograph that I seen when I started playing around with it. When I saw this, snapshot it, took it, and main thing, I can't explain what I see. The main thing I can see is ripples. That's all I see.
Yeah. And do you know what this instrument is?
I just know it's for to see the sun.
Yeah. Wow. Well, whatever it is, it's pretty weird. I'm pretty sure that that's an unusual anomaly to see those kind of vibrating, circles or orbs or whatever that are up on there. But anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, just opening up the week, to start out the week, this is what's so funny to me, guys, is like, it seems like an eternity ago that we had, that 7.8 or whatever it was up in Kodiak. And here we are, like only not even a whole week later, and it seems like ancient history. Doesn't it seem like things are happening so fast that it's like it's just one thing after the other? It just seems like it's just getting to be a lot. What do you guys think?
It seems like a domino effect. It seems like once one domino goes down, it seems like another one's going down, another one's going down, another one's going down.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jeff P., you had an observation this week that was kind of in the category of, oh my God, mind-blowing, level, stuff. Tell us what you came up with this week, bro.
Okay, I was just getting out of my cold, so I was cruising back in the archives of some of the webcams and the photocams, the sister site from addictedsports.com. Down towards the bottom, I was going through some dates, and I was just kind of clicking the next day and the next hour, and all of a sudden I see it night, and then suddenly it's day. I'm like, what the heck? My eyes are like, what the heck? Wasn't there supposed to be a sunrise? I'm like, how do you go from darkness to sun, like suddenly popping up? So I started seeing this anomaly, and I went back at 3 or 4 different four cameras and noticed they also had the same anomaly. And I go, at first I'm like, is this an eclipse, some pole shift, and I didn't know what to think. And so I had posted the video about it, and some subscriber said, I'm just like thinking, what could this possibly be? That's really weird. And I noticed that they deleted several hours on a couple of them of other cameras, but it wasn't dark, but they were like editing, just graying out the video. I can show you an example of what I'm talking about. But so after posting the video, a little later on today, someone texted me and said, or sent a comment saying that the entire 14th is missing from all the Swiss cameras. That was like 9 of them, including one that didn't appear to be anything wrong. And so I was like, wow. And then I saw one thing that Switzerland, I just started thinking the CERN Hadron Collider. I wonder if that had anything to do with this, right? So I was checking out the one of the Italian cameras, and that's the one on the far northern Italy, and it's almost exactly perfectly due east of the CERN Hadron Collider, almost perfectly. In fact, the camera looks right at it in the direction 228 miles away. And so I was kind of showing like this orb, like holographic reddish planet that's been showing up late in the night for the last couple of weeks over northern Italy.
Wow. Do you want to did you want to show a couple of those things, Jeff? I could give you the screen.
Sure. Yeah.
You can go take the screen. I'm going to check on one of our callers, one of our call-in people here, just a second while you kind of show us what you're talking about here.
Okay. Do we still have that issue where we talk and the other one pops over? Do you figure that out?
You know, I don't
like
know why, but it just seems to be working better tonight.
Yeah, okay. We know when you're ready.
Okay, you can go ahead and take the screen, Jeff.
Okay. See good. Okay, you guys see everything?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one of the sites that I'm talking about. Now, this is presently right now. This is one of the from the sister sites from addictedsports.com. If you scroll down to the bottom and you click on this Italian, or excuse me, Switzerland camera, and every single one of these cameras are now missing the entire day of the 14th, the whole day. So I'm going to go back to the first. This was yesterday. And you can see at in January 14th is grayed out. See how you can click on this, and these pictures are there, right? If I click on this, it will take you to February and jump to the next month. So the grayed out ones are where it's completely limited, just like these years are gone, right? You can no longer access these. And I could just quickly show you that every single one of these, you guys, now I click on this Swiss cam, the 14th has now been cherry picked out of here. I'll click on this third one down, click on January. You can see the 14th is missing here the entire day. Fourth camera. Am I going too fast?
No.
Okay. And let's make sure you can actually see this stuff. And you can see the 14th here, and camera number 5, the whole 4. I can go back, and the movie I could prove that they were there. In fact, Naughty Beaver even touched on the topic. He said, I missed a golden gem, and he thought it might have been a spacecraft that was seen a few hours earlier, and I should have mentioned it. Here you can see the 14th missing here, and some fine editing, don't you think? And so my theory was that people said it was a glitch, and I thought, if it's a glitch on the server, then why doesn't it affect all the Swiss cameras? And then lo and behold, it has, right? So again, the 14th missing here, another cherry picked out day. So I think maybe they're going to try and go with the troll narrative of saying, it was a server glitch, so it affected all of them. So instead of just 4 of them, 14th missing here. And then last, somebody tried to debunk me saying that actually showed the sun on this day. But they even deleted this one, so you can't even prove that the sun was up in Switzerland at all now. So I had something interesting to show you that's been popping up in northern Italy. I believe it was this one here. This one here is far to the north. And we can go back a few hours, and I can show you this.
That little red object.
Yep. Go back. I think it'll go a couple hours. There.
It's not a spider. I can tell you one thing. It's not a spider because it's not dangling. It's not dangling. You don't.
Right.
And actually, it kind of like the way it moves. It kind of rotates. It like it moves itself. It's not.
Well, it jerks. You notice how it jerks. And so, I even showed like in the video that this thing would suddenly move from here to here to here. I think I have a theory for that about the lenses, and I went back to prove that during the nighttime this will actually turn white, and we can see this day after day, and we could actually, and then it just suddenly appears, right? So we could look at like, if it was something directly on the lens, it shouldn't move.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if it's something like a spider on a web or just kind of hanging there, then you would think as the wind blows, I've seen.
No. Here's where I'm coming in. I stopped apologizing a long time ago, guys. Look, listen to me for a second. Especially the 2 guys that I have on this call right now. Let me tell you, there's no 2 guys I know that have looked at as many pictures and images and studied as you guys in the community. All right. There's very few of us that have seen as many pictures as you or more. Right. So you know what? I'm not apologizing for my conclusions. We're seeing things, we're seeing very, very strange anomalies above our atmosphere, and that's it. I mean, there's nothing else to say about it.
Right.
I didn't mean to mean or anything, but you guys don't have to apologize for nothing, man. I've been watching you guys for a couple of years, both of you. And you guys, I trust your judgment. I trust your opinion.
There's a saying that always goes in my head all the time that I have. It's always what's in the with what I had to see go in scripture. It says, "Let them have ears, let them hear. Let them have eyes, let them see. If they want to see and they want to hear, that's up to them. We're already giving it to them. That's more all what we could do."
Yeah. And see how it just like disappears. So there's your smudge on the screen, right? And I've seen objects where like, oh my gosh, what is that? And then I can't watch it carefully enough on a live stream, and I just see it moving back and forth with the wind, So it is something in a web. I know the difference, right? So the apologetics gets kind of old. It's kind of moving on, right?
No, and I'm just saying that's exactly where I'm at. I've moved on from that. I don't even have time to listen to the nonsense anymore.
Now this object here, Steve, I think I might have showed you on a live feed once before, but this ghost-like holographic object here, which almost is similar in appearance that they showed at MB33. Now I went forward and backward in time on this thing, and this time I caught the moon. You see my cursor here, this little white object?
Yeah.
Watch this. Let me enlarge this. Okay, so this little object, this is supposed to be the moon. Okay, it may be a similar too, but check out what happens when it goes right through the center of this object. And I'm going to pause it in the middle. Did you catch that?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Let me pause it again. Now, this is what. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can catch it right when it there. Now watch this. Let me zoom that up for you.
Looks like 3 LED lights.
Yeah. But you know what I think? I think that is what I was saying to my audience, that is part of the group of lenses. It was disappearing as it was passing through the three. You'd have you got a larger lens in front, all projecting onto a front screen. So as this moon just happened to pass through the same thing. So it appears in shape. I think you heard my theory about why these appear to be still, like hovering there like a spaceship. We had a demonstration of this, like this little diagram I drew, why these seem to be just hovering there in space. Is as this planetary object, I believe it could have been more right over Switzerland. And then it would have, because of the way the lenses are relaying one image to a different image above the horizon to the forward lens, taking a while to load this. That's why it appears to be still and then suddenly disappear, because it's doing the same thing that moon, because of the array of lenses that are in this. This thing is really taking a long time.
I know, right? It's a nibby monster.
Right.
That usually happens every time you want to do a good presentation. This is what happens.
Okay, here we go. So you could, in my demonstration, hey, this is kind of crude, but these lenses, I believe the main lens would have been here. And because of the light going through, would have caused the projection. You guys see my little cursor looking thing here?
Yeah.
Okay, because it shows like a little crosshairs. This is where the hologram would be been created in these projections, and each one of these lenses, which I believe are actually overlapping one another, as I've seen in Australian videos, are aimed at this center of this lens. So whatever is shown here is reflected and projected here. So this planetary object, as it passes through these planes, it still shows in the same holographic projection here till it finally skips to a whole nother group of lenses over here, and then we get a projections over here. So that was my theory on that. I mean, hey, I could be wrong, but it's something that seemed to make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. It sounds like the way they're traveling through those. Have you seen that video where they have those 6 magnifying glasses, and it's like the way they're showing how they cloak it. That's the way they're actually doing it, because the way I seen these lens arrays, I seen these travel like almost like they go right one in front of another, where as soon as this object goes right there, it blocks it. We're not able to see it, because whenever this object's in front of it, you got to realize they're cloaking it from that far of a view, is because this object's still in the cloaking field.
Right. Exactly. Well, the other thing was, like, remember, like, what we were watching on these cameras, these are still shots that are taken every 10 minutes. So it doesn't really just completely disappear. you know, those are 10-minute stills, but probably look more like what we saw on this moon as it suddenly went from one lens to another. We saw earlier, we could see what a normal sun, a moon was supposed to look like when it sets. Of course, there was nothing normal about any of these because this one went from a crescent moon to a full moon like in a matter of minutes. So this is some pretty bizarre stuff. So that's about
that's about a simulated moon.
Right. I mean, that looks like it's a not reflected light. It looked like it is a light.
That kind of reminds me of someone just throwing a flashlight right on you and just following you.
Look at that. It like just disappeared. Poof.
Right.
The problem.
Let's do this. So the first discovery I think in our community, I think really that needed to be highlighted was the one that you had, Jeff, which was the 14th, and the complete loss of sunlight in Switzerland from several different cameras. That was I think that was probably the biggest Planet X news story this week, in my opinion. But Alex, you've been seeing some stuff with the moon, and doing and getting lots of really, I mean, I'm telling you, unbelievable images on Alex's channel right now. You guys, you really got to track him. But Alex, why don't you take the screen and show us a couple of the things that you think are your highlights of the week?
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. What I want you to see, this is the moon. This was during 2 days prior to the eclipse. Okay, prior to the eclipse. This is a big moon, but this is what you see on top. What do you see on top? You see the lens arrays. Look at the hexagonal shapes. Look at that.
Yeah.
See two of them. They actually said they saw these actually moving. That's what caught their eyes, made them think that they thought it was a planet. But when I saw that and I blew it up right, you could take a very good look at it. Now it's hexagonal. You can tell it's one of the hexagonal shapes that we're seeing.
Wow.
It's crazy. I know. Tell me about it. Let me see. Where are we at? Where else can we go? Let me see. Let me hide this real quick. Then I don't know if you've seen this. This was taken on the 28th. Big old object. Shining, illuminating.
Nice.
Then this right here, I think this to be an object. I'm being honest. Because it's starting to pronounce itself more and more now. It's starting to get more and more. And right here, what I'm starting to notice, this is where we're starting to notice to see this purple. Whenever we see this.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to think that's the purple. Look at that one right there. An object right here. This is a lens flare. As you can tell, you can see the already. You can tell it's a lens flare, but that's an object. That was the same day during the eclipse. And then I got this one from our buddy Ray out there in Illinois. And then I got the same thing right here. I'm gonna show you some other ones too right now. That's gonna probably blow your mind. This is the same one. This is the original one right here of the photograph. So you guys can actually see. You can actually see the make out of the lens arrays right here now. They're up there right now. They're up there right now as we speak. And this is the same thing right here. But I got one right now that I want you guys. It's the same thing. I want you guys to see this one right here. Where is it at? This one right here. This was taken in Ohio. Check this out. Object. What's that right there?
Yeah, it really lights it up with this light, doesn't it?
Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, whoa, that just blew my mind. There's a lot of things going on right there, right by the moon right now.
Well, the thing that bothers me about these orb sightings now, well, not bothers me, but the thing I've been working into my thinking process is after looking at the model, Jeff, that you've been working on with all the other folks and these large lens, parabolic mirrors, whatever you want to call them, it's like a lot of these, what people think are planet sightings really are parts of these mirroring systems. Don't you think?
Yeah. Look how they get this was during the eclipse. With that object in back of the eclipse. I got this off Teresa Caldwell's channel.
Whoa.
That was during the day. You could go look it up. It's called I think a object by the moon during lunar eclipse. And then I got that. Yeah, you see, you can see the purple.
Yeah,
now.
see that red. Yeah, I see that red in there too.
Yeah, you see all this right here. Everyone's starting to see different colors in the sky. Like, you know what? I have to agree with Steve up here. If they didn't have the simulator and they weren't kimming the sky, we will actually be seeing alien skies right now because this is proving it right here. Yeah. We'll be seeing different colors of skies, different colors. We'll be freaked out. And this came from Ray too. I don't know if there's two light sources, but this is what he got. There's one I want to show you that was over there in California. Look at this right here. This one too. I don't know what you guys' opinion on this one.
Yeah, that looks like I see that a lot. You know, it's not normal. You know, it's not a lens flare. It definitely seems like an out of sync, like sun simulator or something with the lens array.
Then someone said they caught something that looks like a moon,
Yep.
but that's not the one I want you guys to see. There's that one too, but this is the one I want you guys to see. Pay attention. This is taken in California. Look at that right there. What is that right there?
Wow.
What is that?
That's a planet, man.
I got a bigger photograph for you guys to see on that one. There it is. You guys take a better view. Look at it. There it is. You guys, I need you guys' opinion on this. I mean, come on.
Hold on one second.
To me, that's a planet.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got the relentless Maverick. So, Bobby, if you could just mute your phone for a second. Alex is in the middle of discussing a sighting. Go ahead, Alex.
Go ahead.
No, okay. To me, that's a planet, and I have to say that has to be the planet with the hole, because if you take a look at it, there's a little dentation right here, but you know, to me, it's if I blow it up a little bit bigger, you can actually see a little bit more. I don't want to get it all pixelized, but look at you can see it.
Reminds me of Phobos, one of the moons of Mars.
Yes, that's what it kind of reminds me of. Who knows? Everyone says that we're probably out of our orbit. Who knows? Maybe Phobos did or come into our orbit.
Yeah, maybe Planet X pulled it out. Now it's orbiting Planet X.
Who knows, right?
And then I got this one right here that shows another object. It's a lens flare, but there's another object that goes during the eclipse too. It's like, you know, it's all right there. We're getting all kinds. We're getting all kinds of, you know. To me,
Yeah,
I don't know what this is.
That's supposed to be the moon, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be the moon.
Let me just stop right there for a second. You know, every time I see this moon simulator thing, you notice you don't see craters.
Yeah, you don't.
Exactly.
You see a flashlight. You see like a bright light on you. You don't see no craters. And what's weird is that why is it all the cameras? I don't know, like Nikon's P900s, we're able to pick up the moon with craters, see the face and everything on the moon. But when we looked at it, when we look at it on our phones, we can't. What's the difference? Is it the phone, the lenses, how they make them?
Yeah, that's pretty weird. And I know, like the solar eclipse, we thought we could just hold our phone up and check it out. No, it looked like a normal sun, but you put like the lens up on it, you could see the eclipse. So yeah, it's something to do with the lenses, I think.
And then someone said this was the blue Kachina that they caught on the coast. That's a big blue. That's a big blue object.
Wow, is that the natural color?
That's the natural color. Natural color.
What?
Yeah, natural color.
That's like unreal. Very hard to. That's a cognitive dissonance.
That one was hard to absorb in the brain. Can we see that one more time?
Yeah, that's like some serious cognitive dissonance there.
Look, serious. That's their natural color. It's all pixelated because it's small. You know, you got to realize it's small, but that's the natural color. As you can see the ground in the background. You can see it's green in the background. You can see the trees are green.
I wonder why it's blue. You ever wonder why it's like such an electric planet? Like part of like just the way the atmosphere is.
Yeah, it's probably because of the way the atmosphere is. Well, they did say we were going to see the blue one first, then we'll see the red. So I'm thinking that's the blue Kachina. That's what I call it.
You know.
Then I got this one was taken in Fresno, California. I haven't did any I only did work on it. I just want you guys to pay attention. This kind of looks like a little ball with wings because I got it a little bit.
Yeah, that looks like the Dave Jobs object.
Yeah, this was taken in Fresno, California, a day before the eclipse. Okay, day before the eclipse, and there it is right there. I just do it the biggest I could get is because I didn't want to get it more pixelated. That's the biggest I could get it. And this was facing the northwest. It was traveling down the northwest over here in the west coast. And that's all I have right here from this one and that one right there. I believe this one to be the same object that was right there on Bloom Skies, the one that we're actually capturing. Because, like you said, this thing is staying parked, is not moving. The sun's catching it, and so is the moon. It's rotating in between.
Wow! Did you hear about? Have you witnessed the orbital paths of the red and blue planets? They think that they're orbiting basically around each other as they orbit around the Nemesis star. They kind of look like a set of barbells in space.
That's what I heard. I heard that too.
Yeah. Would that be something though? So now you got red and blue planets orbiting each other. Kind of reminds me of the police pulling you over, man. Suggestive programming. Oh well.
Well, hey, anyway, I just wanted to welcome to the broadcast the Relentless Maverick, Bobby. You can unmute your mic now. I just wanted to welcome you on to the show. And I know you're with one of your friends, and we just want to hear your voice there, brother.
I don't know. Can
Hi,
you hear
Bobby.
me now?
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
You can hear me okay?
I can hear you great. Is your friend still with you right now?
Yeah, he's outside doing some stuff working, you know. You spoke to Chris, and Chris Day is he's a local Appalachian, right? So he's been here his whole life, and he is like the mountain man here. He's got a garden in his backyard. I've eaten the corn. He's all about understanding the growing cycle here. And as per the conversation you were having earlier, it was, you know, it was poignant. In fact, he was trying to say is that his growing cycles here, we're off about 2.5 to 3 months here. And there was an old timer that once said to my sister, he said, it's going to continue like this until we only have 2 seasons here. And that's kind of an interesting viewpoint coming from a 93-year-old man who's been in this valley his whole life. And he's recognizing the cycles of growing have changed tremendously, where the corn is coming up earlier and everything has changed here in the growing cycle. And that was his issue. And Chris is, you know, he's very, very, I guess I would say highly observant, because he utilizes his garden in an income-based, you know, kind of way. You know, everybody eats off his garden.
When it's part of your livelihood, you pay a little bit more attention to it.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they can goods here, and, you know, he hunts deer, and you know, and that's the way things are done in these mountains here. And these people have been doing this for 200 years here. So he's saying that the cycles of growing are not like they used to be, and they're actually out too, you know. So right in line.
Well, and he was also mentioning to me, Bobby, he was talking about the wildlife and the way it's behaving has been a lot very disturbing in the last couple of months too.
Oh,
did he talk to you about that too?
Yeah, about the fishing and stuff like that. Let me get him in here if you want to talk to him. I can reel him in, but he's gonna, you know, he'll certainly be an informative fellow if you want to run.
Well, I mean, you know, we should drag him on the call just to hear what a very
yeah, okay, I'll give him
all the time. That'd be cool.
You gotta wind him up and wind him down. Hold on. Hey, Chris. Hey, Steve wants you on the show, so come on in here, buddy.
Here, hey, just intervene.
We're gonna get your viewpoint on the wildlife.
Did you guys hear about what happened over there in Baja, California?
Right now.
That the water receded
Again?
Yeah, the water receded again yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you have a source on that, Alex?
The local rundown on the wildlife.
Yeah, I'm getting on there right now on Facebook. If you want me to share it, I can share it.
All right, so we're
Steve-O. Hold on, Bobby. Hold, Chris. Thanks for coming in. Bobby, hold on just 1 second. We're gonna let Alex go ahead, just because he just had kind of an interesting kind of, let's call it flash news report, even though it happened yesterday. Alex, show us what you found.
Okay, what I found right now is right here. I'm on one of my friends on website. This happened yesterday, 9 hours. He posted it. This is the sea over there in California, the Bajas. Let me play the video for you guys so you guys can see. There ain't no more water. It just receded. Let me see if the video could play. It was posted yesterday.
I wonder if you could post a video link. I mean, a news link in the chat room.
There's no water. Look it.
Hunt none.
No water at all. Look it. No water. That was yesterday.
You know what that is.
Yeah.
There's no hurricane's gonna suck that out.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Matter of fact, California hardly ever gets hurricanes. So what's their excuse?
Right. You know, that's one of the things that trolls I would say, dude, if a planet was that close, we'd be getting tidal issues. I'm like, dude, have you not been watching the news?
I know, right?
I just wanted to share that with you guys to let you guys know that that's what happened yesterday.
Yesterday.
Not
surprised.
Wow, so we had some water receding there. Bobby, do you have Chris in the room now?
Yeah, we got Chris. We got him.
Yeah, man. So I was wanting to tell you about for the last few years, I've kept seeds
Wait,
a
Chris,
large
Chris,
gardener.
I want to ask you before you get started. I don't mean to be rude, but could you just tell us who you are and where you're from and you know, where you live and, you know, and all that real quick?
Yeah, man. My name's Chris Day. I live in the Appalachian Mountains of North Carolina. We live on a large river bottom, pretty isolated from the world, about 1,600 feet in elevation, just south of Boone in Tennessee. So that's where we are here.
And you work outside a lot and you're kind of an outdoorsman, I think is what you were telling me, right?
Yeah, man. I'm a subsistence hunter, trapper, farmer. All the different aspects. We hunt ginseng, hunt arrowheads, Indian relics. We're kind of subsistence livers here in the mountains.
Wow, so you're like true mountain people, like mountain men, like.
Yeah, man.
So anyway, what are some of the things that you're seeing over the last 5 years or so? I mean, is everything hunky dory out in nature land or in the Appalachian Mountains, or what is it like?
Well, I save seeds every year. We're subsistence gardeners, so every year we save our seeds. And in the last 3 years, we've noticed that our germination rate is speeding up. Our seeds want to bust in February. We've had seeds, heirloom seeds that are multi-generational from our grandparents. And we see a difference in nature that says that our seeds need to hurry up. We have seeds busting 2 and 3 months ahead of time, stored in the ground in potato holes and
Whoa!
places
So
that
in other words, the seeds are like germinating, busting out, busting open like in February when they normally would bust open like in April or or that in that time frame.
Yeah, our time frame's changed in the last 5 years. Our time frame's changed by 2 months. Our seeds would never germinate to the first week of April, then the first week of March. Now we're seeing it by the first week of February. And so something cosmically or lunar effect is changing our germination time in our seed.
Interesting. And what do you like? I'm sure you talk to old timers a lot up there. That the guys that have been around for longer than the hills and the dirt. What do they have to say about it?
Well, they don't have any math on this. Our math is different than their grandparents' math. Our old farmers' almanacs and the old ways and when you plant and everything doesn't work here anymore. We have a different time frame than the old timers. When the old timers say don't plant anything to the first week of April, we can now plant by the first week of March. Their math's no longer right here. And so we're dealing with an event that predates our grandparents and their grandparents in time frame.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask you, because where I come from, I call it the northern Appalachian Mountains. There's this little mountain range called the Ushkooch, and it's just like Appalachia, only it's in the north, and they don't have southern accents. It's the only difference between, it's like there's a lot of people that live subsistence there. It's been that way forever. It's not like they just started, sustainable farming last year. These are generations of people that did this stuff, right? Where I grew up. And you ask those old timers, they'll tell you what's normal, what's not normal, won't they, Chris?
Oh, yeah. And what we have now is in the last few years, their normal is no longer our normal. We have gained a crop. We can grow a fall or a spring crop. We have a longer growing season now. And their normal and our normal is no longer the same. And
totally.
I'm sure for many years it was the same. And the old math was right math. Today, our math is different math. And there has to be some figuring for our different math. Because if I go by the old timers right now, I will lose most of my garden. I will lose my potatoes to too much water. I will lose my corn to not enough sun. I cannot go by the old standard where I am anymore. I have to have an evolved standard. And the old standard doesn't work here anymore. And there's a lot of old timers would hate to hear me say that. but I'm a realist, and I know how many pounds of corn I grow. I know how many pounds of potatoes I grow, and I'm a realist in the outcome of the fall of the year. And my outcome is different now, and there is some relevancy in that outcome being different. And I have to think beyond the old math to realize that.
Right on. Well, what do you think, Chris? I mean, being so close to the earth and everything like that, what do you think is going on, man?
I think that we are having a more aggressive summer, and we're having a more aggressive winter. Our winter has returned to be a true winter time. Our plants are responding. The ground's freezing a foot thick, 2 foot thick in areas here. But our summers are so hot that a lot of our native plants almost can't tolerate it. So we're having maximum and minimum. So you end up with a handful of plants somewhere in the middle that can tolerate those maximums and tolerate those minimums. I'm growing peppers here now that are native to Mexico. I am also growing winter vegetables that are native to Canada. So our extremes are far more defined. So that is lunar, or that is solar, or that is orbital. Those are the only things in that world that affect seed germination, that affects relativity to when the deer lose their horns, or when the deer grow their horns, or when the fish in the rivers and the trout spawn down here and lay their eggs. This is relative to a cosmic event that is beyond us. That cosmic event has changed. So has everything in nature. And if a man hunts deer and he chases fish and he digs plants, he sees a difference in the last 5 years. And that difference is changing at a rate that's hard to keep up with, because the trout will spawn this year a week earlier than they did last year. If you talk to the old timers, then we're 2 months off now. So their relative advice stops being relative beyond minimum and maximum of their existence. And so our minimum and our maximum is far beyond what that was, evidently.
Well, again, that's one of the things that Bobby and I talk about a lot. We talk about the sudden changes that are happening and how it's affecting people's psychology and stuff like that. How the people up in the mountains, are they happy these days or sad, or what's going on that way?
Well, you have it is very relative. If you have a really cold day, you appreciate a really warm day. So you have a group of people that are spiritual that have just been waiting for something to change. Then you have a group of people that are realists that don't quite understand the rate of change. So most people will throw their hands up in the air in acceptance of that they don't know what's changing. And people here that are close to the earth are conscious of a change, but are optimistic of a change. A lot of people would agree we're ready for a change. And I think whether you're ready or not, there is going to be a change.
Yeah, I think no matter what your belief is, what's causing it, right? I think one of the things that we think about a lot is, obviously this channel is dedicated to the research of Planet X and wormwood and that kind of stuff from the Bible. But there's also, things that just like the grand solar minimum, we've seen this in history, the effect that it has had on the earth. And when you look at the amount of time between these cycles, this grand solar minimum cycle, which is about 300 to 500 years, that's 3 or 4 generations. That's, we forget everything in 2 generations. I think they say 3. What does
Absolutely.
it take, Bobby?
Absolutely.
What does it take, Bobby? 3 generations for us to forget something?
Yeah, well, it depends. After the second it depends on what you're talking about. If we're talking about illegal, immoral, or deadly, then you won't lose that for several generations. But if we're talking about God, the Bible, or things of importance, a couple generations, 2 to 3. I agree.
Yeah, how long would it take for us to, basically the other part of that is how long does it take to set up a what we call a a bias. I'm looking for one of the bias words. Confirmation bias, where it just becomes like, this is normal. Bob's drugstore is always going to be on that corner. my grade school is always going to be over there where I went.
50 years.
Yeah.
50 years, brother.
Well, I looked at our deer here, and our deer here live about 7 years on average.
50 years.
And so for every 10 generations of whitetail deer, there is a catastrophic event that changes population number. Well, in their lifetime, that would be 7 generations. If you took 7 generations of human, we would see an absolute change in population. And when we look at animals that have a shorter lifespan, we can see their curves. We can see years that there's lots and lots of rabbits, years there's lots and lots of squirrels. We can watch their population rise to the point that it's unsustainable by the wilderness here. And we watch that population die out. Now, given in a population that only lives 6 or 7 years, it's easy in a 40-year, a 50-year lifespan to watch many generations of their life transpire. So if we compare ourselves to the whitetail deer, which in my belief, we're no better than the whitetail deer. But if we compare ourselves to the whitetail deer, every 7 or 8 generations of their life, there's a catastrophic event that cuts their numbers to 10 to 15% of what they were. If we are no better than that animal, we are at that time frame. Whether you base that in science, religion, whatever you want to base that in, reality is that we're at that time frame of an overpopulation value on our earth that we can't grow enough food to feed us.
10 generations.
And we are outrunning our value every year. So if we compare ourselves to every other living creature that walks around us, then we are at that time frame. And you can call it a cosmic event. And this wormwood, I happen to believe in all these things. I've seen these things in my life transpire. That I've seen things orbitally that I can't explain. And I believe that.
No, you get a unique view of the skies up there, Chris, in the mountains, the crisp air, and close to the star, at least closer to the stars, and above the the pollution that a lot of Americans and world people see. I mean, what kind of weird stuff have you seen in the skies?
Well, we live close to a place called Dark Mountain, and Dark Mountain is far enough away from any pollution light of any city that we get a true dark night. During the new moon phase on a dark night, which happens to be a wonderful time to fish, which is why we've spent that time out there. But being on the lake on a new moon phase in a place in the world called Dark Mountain, we will see orbital influence. There'll be things in the sky that has a direct influence with the fish, with the algae bloom in the lake. We will see a haze come over the water some nights. And it's a gravitational effect from something that's not the moon. So if you're sitting on a really calm lake and the moon rises, you will watch the surface of the lake and you can see the gravitational impact from the moon. So we're having gravitational impact that's not the moon. On a dark night, the algae bloom will pull to the top, and you'll create a riffle across the top of the water. That is a gravitational pull. But it's a gravitational pull that's not being influenced by the moon. That's something that's changed here. That is also what is causing our plants to bloom at an odd time, causing my seeds to sprout in our seed cellar. It's an odd gravitational impact. The animals and the plants are responding that it's the moon, but we're in the wrong cycles. It's not the moon. It's too early.
Wow, that's fascinating. That's the first time I've heard that observation. Chris, thank you for bringing that to our attention. So there are certain kind of earth signs that you were basically pointing out that, and again, I'm just repeating you just so everybody kind of digest what you just said. You can see the earth changes, like the mists and the different ways that things behave when there's a moon cycle, and you're seeing quote unquote moon cycles when there ain't no moon.
That's right, man. And it is the same exact impact. What we see on really bright full moons that occur when the moon's orbit is close to the earth, so you have an enhanced gravitational effect. Those are peak fishing days, and we pay attention to that for the fishing. And what we're seeing is we're seeing in between moon cycles, we're seeing gravitational effect. When the moon is on the opposite side of the earth and we're dealing with a dark night with no moon influence, we're having relative gravitational impact that is really similar to what a full moon cycle would be. It's changing spawning behaviors in fish, and it's changing germination rates in seeds.
Well, thank you for that insight, man. I really appreciate you coming in and sharing. And was there anything else you wanted to kind of boot out there? Any other kind of weird observations, Chris, before we let you go?
Well, the only last weird observation that I've seen is I've seen a
Maverick.
I've seen a dramatic increase in the crossbreeding in our local animals. I've trapped fur for a long time, and usually a red fox or a gray fox is one species in itself. And I'm seeing an increase in hybridization in animals, which from everything I've ever heard in my life seems to mean that the animals are making preparations for a change of some kind. And I'm pretty isolated in the world, and I don't get to speak my view to many people. And it's nice to have a dialogue with someone that's understanding, at least to these hillbilly views.
Oh no, man! I listen to people that live close to the land very closely, very carefully, and just like we were talking about, just because you're a hillbilly doesn't mean you're stupid, right?
Yeah, man. Some of the smartest people I know is hillbillies, brother.
Me too, man. That's exactly right. So thanks for giving us your insights, especially the crossbreeding thing. That brings to mind the like a desperation to procreate, kind of like.
Yeah, man. That's the way that seems.
Is that what you thought too as a mountain man?
Yeah, man. That was my thought too. My thought was things that are trying their best just to get by. Life.
Genetic diversification.
Yeah, genetic diversification, and life seems to find a way, and it seems to be trying really hard lately.
All right, well, let's bring. Thank you again, Chris. Let's bring you back in, Alex Lujan. Alex, what do you think about all this stuff? Being a city boy like you are out there in Los Angeles, where the heck you're at?
Well, I've been seeing everything change. Let's just put it this way: the main thing that I've been seeing change a lot is the orbit of the moon right now. The moon is off its cycle. The main thing I've been noticing now in California is that it's been getting colder. It's not getting warmer. It's getting colder, and there's times at night I have to keep my heater on because it's cold. And let me tell you, the weather has changed. Everything has changed here, and I got to say, the farmers over here sometimes put it this way: the farmers right now are having problems with exactly what he said with the field. Like sometimes this whole year the tomato didn't grow right, the cucumbers didn't grow right, the cantaloupes didn't grow right. There's all kinds of trouble going on around in the ground. So there is something going on.
Yeah, well, I would say then, just to add the report from the Middle West, and this is reports as far north as Minnesota and reports south as southern Wisconsin, covers a pretty big area. And I can tell you without a doubt, when I was in Bemidji, Minnesota earlier it was early October, and it was -6 degrees. The locals were not saying that was normal at all. And so I guess it just kind of points out that, as this group, this is something that Naughty Beaver says all the time, Naughty Beaver is like among my favorite YouTube researchers of Planet X, and quite frankly, has a super insight on Nostradamus. Bobby, mute your mic.
Good question, brother.
Is my mic muted?
No, it's not. Just mute it while you guys are talking. We'll have you back on again once we get back around.
I don't know how to do it, man. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, so anyway, kind of interesting observations. Jeff P., what did you think of what Chris was talking about?
I don't want to do that.
About the animals and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's part of what you had showed earlier on one of your videos, when you put another object around our sun and it throws ours like in a further eccentric orbit. So we're getting extra further from the sun and extra closer to the sun. So I think it's part of that cycle.
Yeah, I think it's an orbital. I think it's an orbital impact is what's causing it. I think we're either oblong in our orbit or, you know, perturbed, I guess would be the word, right?
Or how about a rotation slowing down?
Or
Yeah.
rotation slowing down. Yeah. So speaking of stories this week, we had this incredible rainbow cloud story in the Mirror a couple days or today actually, and I kind of got a little bit. I was like a little bit miffed by this one because it's like, do you know how many rainbow cloud pictures I've seen in the last 2 years, you guys? What do you, you know what I mean? It's not like this is no big story to me at all. Go ahead, guys.
Well, I've seen so many myself too, but this is actually spontaneous to me because it's just one little patch. It's not the whole thing. It's just one little area.
You know, did you guys watch my Matrix Skies video that I made a while back?
Yeah.
Where I showed a breakdown of the Matrix?
Yeah, which
Or
is
the
that
lens array?
yeah, that little patch that broke down.
Yeah, and they showed identify this as made her like her whole channel is showing these are anomalies. I think that's exactly what we're looking at here. Is these lens array projections that we're getting with this I mean, look at that. What's it possibly refracting off of?
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, you can't say that's normal, man. But you know, these meteorologists, they got excuse for everything.
Yeah, they do.
They'll just say, well, this is a very rare. Yeah, it's so rare that it happens every day now, right?
Okay,
So
now I'm gonna shift gears totally. Did you guys? And again, I can't play this. I don't want to get a strike. I'm just gonna point to this video, the Justin Timberlake supplies video. Have you guys caught that one yet?
No, I have to see that one.
No, I haven't seen it
Everybody
either.
go check it out. It's called Supplies. It's this new video. Go watch this video. In terms of predictive programming, just let me tell you, it's pretty amazing.
Hey, it kind of reminds me of that triangle that Taco Bell selling, and they even show you the Illuminati side.
Oh, I got a good one for you. You know, on The Simpsons, episode 28, they showed it was like Mr. Burns, and some statue had broke down. They point at the sky, and then I couldn't even make out what they said, but then they'd made some weird statue to take its place. Yeah, 28, and then something about Mr. Burns. Episode 28. Who was that?
Oops.
Maybe it was season 28. Yeah, try season 28.
Well, then, yeah.
I'm not you know, that kind of reminds us of what we're looking at right now.
Well, what it had was it showed a donut shape. This guy holding up a giant like donut, and then that little geeky science guy goes, "Oh no, you made it the shape of a giant convex thing. Now the sun is gonna hit it and burn us all up." And the sun comes out and hits this thing, and it fries and burns up their whole town. And it just reminded me like the whole video about the weaponized sun, and it burned up California and all that.
Yeah. I actually do think that that's weaponized because the way I seen it, there was nothing there until you seen that laser. Once you seen that laser hit down, that's when the fire started.
You know what? I saw another. I wasn't gonna keep going on weaponized weather, but there was another one about Michigan. Somebody sent me more proof. I didn't make a video about it, but it was showing the same thing: green laser coming from the sun over like some Michigan fire thing that was going on.
Now, one of the things that we've been seeing a lot this week, too, guys, is we've been seeing a lot of, or in the last couple of weeks, we've been seeing a lot of really strange stuff in the, let's call it the lower Earth orbit. So if the space station, I think, is at 200 some miles up, we're seeing a lot of stuff at what I would estimate to be about 100 miles up. Have you guys seen anything like that?
What was it?
We're seeing a lot of things now where we're from the ISS where we're seeing like this. I'll show you here. Just this one is an example. Seeing stuff that's lower than the ISS. Have you guys been seeing a lot of this stuff?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I've been seeing some structures like that too.
What do you suppose? Bobby, I know Bobby's been kind of talking about this lately. Bobby Maverick, Relentless Maverick, come on, you've been talking. We've been talking a little bit about seeing stuff that's lower than the ISS.
Can you
What
hear
are
me
your
now?
thoughts on?
Yeah,
What are
can you
your
hear me?
thoughts on this? Yep. Go
Am I-
ahead.
Okay. So, let me just make this clear. I've made several videos now. I think my past 4 videos have been relative to exactly this. Now, what's happened here? For the first couple of years, I took my own images with the camera, with the phone, right? And I've stayed very consistent as to produce the same image over and over again, not to change my way of looking at the sky. So I've been very consistent with the way that I view the images. So what I did not have was an outer perspective of what I was seeing from the ground. Just a logical viewpoint here. I'm taking a picture from the ground, and I've never been out on the outside looking back at the Earth to see what I may see from the roof, if you will. So I had an email come to my particular email, and it was in a Dropbox, and it was an ISS image. And what I realized in viewing the ISS images and the video was that the very same images that I'm getting from the ground were representative in a massive cloud bank, and not just one cloud bank, but multiple. So, I'm kind of like looking at this thing, and as I dig a little deeper and I literally have spent thousands of hours now detailed looking at images and zooming in and changing. I have spent thousands of hours doing this now. It isn't like I don't know what I'm doing. And what I realized was, through very careful, long, deep investigation of these photos, is that there is a recurring situation. There's a V. Okay, just simple as that, a V. Just like the V in the NASA logo. I made a video about it. Go to Relentless Ranch or Relentless Maverick, all caps, and check it out. It's called Relentless V. So if you go into this thing and you start looking for that V, you're going to recognize that from the satellite images, you see the V over and over again. Well, that was fine. Okay. So now I have an outer perspective of the images that I'm catching from the ground for a couple of years now. Now I see what I see from the outside looking down. Okay, so if the ISS is at 240 and we're at 0, well, those images look like they're about half the distance between the Earth and the ISS. And one of the benefits of seeing it from that vantage or that perspective is so that I could reference the mass, the size of it, because when you're viewing it from our perspective, there's nothing behind it. You can't reference the size. You can't reference even its locality as far as distance, because there's no backdrop. But when you put the Earth behind it and you look at it from the ISS, you can clearly see there is a cloud bank. And in that cloud bank are these large orbs, small orbs, medium-sized orbs. You want to call them orbs? I'll call them orbs. I'm done calling them planets, just so everybody who listens to this can understand that. It can't be a planet if it's 100 miles away. Now, if anybody here can explain to me, and please do, I would like all the comments, bosmith67@gmail.com. Send me any explanation you have for why every image that's been sent to me in the past, 3 weeks, and this is from all over the place, and it started off this morning at 5:30 for the guy in the UK, why every image, detailed image, I can pull out large orbs and small orbs in every image of these fantastical clouds and chemtrails that are being produced. I put together some videos of what's going on the top of this hill up here at Relentless Ranch, North Carolina. So just from my vantage point, in the morning, in the midday, and in the afternoon, it is a freak show in the sky. And this stuff is cruising around between 0 and 240 miles, not 240,000 miles, not 1,000 miles. No, the images from the ISS, and anybody can look at the images. Go ahead and look down, and don't tell me you don't see a V. When you see the V, zoom in, really zoom in, and see what you see, because you're going to find a lot of round orbs, spheres, different sizes, different colors, casting different shades. Please be my guest. Investigate it. How you like that?
Well,
I'm not
You know, it's
kidding
funny.
you.
No. I'm showing the video right when you were talking. Our timing was perfect. Right as you zoomed in on the view, we could see the little orbs, the little round
Over
circles.
and over and over. It's uncanny. It's not even funny. And, you know, this is a really big deal to me, and it's not small. I had a very long conversation with my own father today about it. And my poignant fact is that if I can see those things in the clouds and they're below the ISS and they're above me, and there's airplanes all over the world spraying like mad on call to distort the view from here, that means that the government doesn't have control over it. Because if they had control over something that was costing them millions of dollars to hide, they would just call Johnny the captain and have him back it up, get it back out into space where we can't see it because you guys are visible. So that hasn't happened. And if the Russians owned it, we would have shot it down. If the Chinese owned it, we would have shot it down. And if we owned it and they didn't own it, they would have shot it down. So either the government knows what these little balls in the sky are, or somebody really smart can make very good sense of what I'm talking about. Because if you do a detailed analysis of your own pictures, just use your contrast and brightness from your telephone, and you spend enough time and zoom and focus and get right, you can pull out exactly what I'm talking about in great detail and in the vast multitude. So if you want a little mystery, tell me at Relentless Maverick, all caps, come to my channel, leave comments, bosmith67@gmail.com, show up and make sense of these little balls that you're going to find if you look.
Well, let's do this. So, Bobby, thank you for bringing that forward. Let's
buddy.
go ahead and have Jeff and Alex weigh in. Jeff and Alex, starting with you, Jeff P., what do you think we're seeing here?
Well, I think some of the reason for the balls is if you watched one of my 3 or 4 videos back about, it was called the laser-induced plasma wake fields, and projects that the government are actually working on. And they're able to take ionize our atmosphere and actually create atmospheric lenses with what technology called femto lasers. It's super sped up lasers. They take a laser light and throw it through a wake field, and the wake field of the plasma actually accelerates it like a particle accelerator to the speed of a femto laser, which is like 10 with 15 zeros.
Right.
So what that really will do, it'll take all the energy of a light beam and compress it to something very, very tiny, and they hit our atmosphere with it. There's ionized gas that they've, for a long time, have been ionizing our atmosphere, so that basically using our entire ionosphere as a defense shield and for spying purposes. So they could do it from satellites and airborne aircraft where they are flying at high altitudes, very high altitudes, and they could basically scan a lens shape laser onto our atmosphere and make lenses. Now, I knew that when you said that you would let the cat out of the bag about they're using lasers to hide Planet X, and I thought, how could that be possible? And then I thought about the reality of, since plasma is superheated gas, it creates a different density, and different density will bend light.
Of course.
And so they're using, and they said, now a lot of this stuff that we're seeing now are these plasma balls. In fact, if they make it big enough and plasma will suddenly collapse, it'll make these large explosions, just like lightning or thunder.
Mm-hmm.
So they can create this, and when the gases suddenly collapse, it crashes on it, creating these sonic booms as well. So I think that could be part of what we're seeing. And I do believe in UFOs, but some of these things.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. And hey, any answer is a great answer because I don't have any. And I've stated that point very clear. I have no clue what it is I'm looking at, and nothing is making sense from the grounded position that I see things or experienced in my life. So, okay, but on the other side of this, what I do recognize is that in the images alone, well, if that were the case, I mean, we got to go one step farther, and I didn't just come to this conclusion because I didn't cover the gambit across the vast scope of possibilities that I could check it by, and by which I'm talking about is time. So now we can go back to the 60s and look at some of the moon footage and some of that detailed images. Like, look at that 1960 moon 2018 HD. If we watch that particular thing, what you'll recognize is that what I'm talking about is in that. And if you go back to you'll see the last video that I put out. There's a picture of a flying saucer, a German flying saucer, and behind it's strange enough, that image is a very old image, right? And it's been circulated like tremendously. But what I did was I looked at the sky behind it, and I was having a conversation with my friend Stefan, and he has a YouTube channel also now, but he was investigating this and looking at it with me, and he says, look at the cloud behind it, look at the sky behind the UFO. So this is supposedly a 1930s or early 40s picture of a flying disc that the Germans had created, but up above it is a cloud. So I took the cloud picture and I kind of like worked out some things in the cloud picture, and lo and behold, the same things that are in the cloud now were in the cloud then. Okay, so now we have an issue because they didn't have this technology back then that you're talking about right now, and yet those orbs are in the cloud. They're not anywhere else. They're just in the cloud.
Yeah, it sounds like UFO technology then.
I'm telling you, dude, that my viewpoint of it is based on like I've checked this thing like 10 ways to Tuesday. And if you look at that ISS footage, if you screen capture, please, I want anybody to screen capture my videos anywhere you want. And if you want me to send you the original, I'll send it to you, bro. If you can look at it and blow it up and look at it yourself, I'm telling you, people, that there is something going on with the clouds, buddy. And, it's almost like when they spray the chemtrail right behind it. I mean, why would you put an X in the sky if it makes it more visible? Why would you put X marks a spot? I mean, why would you bury a spot, particularly in the sky? And then as a result of that, the visibility seems to increase by tenfold, that there is an issue, an anomaly, a visual, out of normal section in the sky. It's like they let you know, and then you look, and lo and behold, if I just take a picture there, I can pull out images that are just unbelievable. And I know because I've spent 3 weeks exhaustively pumping videos out, 100 and something videos. And this is like looking at it all through my phone, detailed imaging, really close, trying to see what I see. And I mean, call me crazy if you want, brother, but I'm telling you, there's something. Please look in the clouds. When you see that dark, really dark cloud line, I can show you repeated images of the same cloud with the same spheres in it over and over and over and over and over again. It's the same shaped cloud over 3 years. And I have it now from the ISS and I mean, I don't know how many images I have of it. The same thing. It's crazy, dude.
Yep. So good point. So, hey, I've been getting, first of all, I got to say this last 4 or 5 weeks, let's call it the last 6 weeks, the number of pictures around the world of credible, legitimate, weird, legitimate, off the wall stuff has exploded. What have you guys been experiencing, Alex?
I've been experiencing all kinds of stuff like you. I mean, from the past, I think whole month, it's been weird. You be seeing objects here. Like, okay, if you wanted to figure out what we're seeing in the sky, I have to agree on what we're seeing on both things. We're seeing, I had to say, celestial bodies with orbs. That's all I have to say. That's basically what I'm seeing. And I understand what he's talking about, the cloud that he says that you can see objects in there, or because it's the same cloud structure that you see every single year, and you see like every other single day. It's always there in the same spot where it kind of looks like an orb.
It's the same shape, man.
Yeah,
clouds don't stay the same shape.
Yeah, exactly.
That's correct.
So it's the same shape and everything. So like he said, it could be UFO technology that they're obfuscating these UFOs coming in and all. But my main more is that I do see celestial bodies. I do see objects orbit. So we are seeing both things. And the main thing I'm really seeing more is that we're actually seeing 2 objects now by the moon now at nighttime than what we are seeing some objects by the sun. Because have you seen the IS? Have you seen the all sky cams? You're getting two objects right there, right by the moon now. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they are. If they're celestial bodies or they're orbs or not, but there's something there.
It could be part of the cloaking technology that's on a,
Yeah, exactly.
whether it's some kind of craft or not.
Well, and again, I think the one, then I'm going to shift gears one time here now and just kind of shift over to the other thing that I've been noticing in the last, especially the last couple of weeks, is there's been like an explosion of interest in spiritual things with me, right? In other words, like I did a 3-part series this week. All I did was preached. And I really pissed off my audience, a good part of my audience, but I really don't care.
I really like that, man.
Well, thank you very much, Bobby. And you and I were kind of talking and bouncing this thing off of each other this week. And I'd like to get Alex and Jeff's point of view on it too. But it just seems like there's a spiritual sense of urgency going on. I don't want to overframe it in any ideology or anything like that, but just there's a spiritual sense of urgency. What do you guys think?
Well, right now we're going through a spiritual battle. Everywhere everyone is right now, regardless of what it is. Every single day you wake up, you're battling every single day.
That's right.
You know, so you're not the only one going through it. Everyone out there is feeling it, regardless if they want to accept it or not. They're feeling it because they feel a change. Like there's some times where I'm okay, like I'm all right, and then like not even like 5 seconds, you know, I'm a different person. You know, it's something's going on out there. Something has to be happening. You know,
it's like a switch.
Yeah, you go like a switch. To me, it's like a frequency. It's like they already know. Okay, this man's feeling happy. All right,
you're right.
The frequency switch turn on. Now he's not. He's angry. You know.
Yeah, I've been snapping like back and forth too, having to work it out. I have to keep praying on it because I'm great 1 minute and then I get all whacked and I'm like, no, and then I start fire back up and get motivated and it's a strange thing going on. It's a questioning purpose. You know, we're all doing things and exposing ourselves. There's a level of transparency that's associated with these conversations, gentlemen, and it's not something that everybody in the world does. And it takes a concern, and you know, everybody has their own reasons for doing this stuff that we're doing. But one thing for sure is that we're all are on the same team and we're all going in the same direction. And if it is a spiritual battle, then I would assume that anybody associated with this circle of understanding is going to suffer in some way or the other. And that's really what I think. I think that we're on the right track, and suffering is a part of that wisdom, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
So I was just doing this comparison of this picture I got from Torso, which I think is in Norway, where I'm seeing the 3 planet-like configuration again.
Yeah.
Right.
Just doing that in front of me. No, man, here's what's happening with me. Like it's just like, it's kind of like it feels like there's a window of opportunity where a respite, if you will, almost like a spiritual respite period, where like maybe people could just shake their heads a little bit and just take a minute and think about their life for a minute and think about what it all means and where it's all going, and really put a big think into the global perspective of things, and get out of our kind of paper bag, living in a paper bag of a false reality, holographic world, whatever you want to call it,
complacency,
and really reconnect spiritually with your roots, whatever they may be, Bobby.
Right. It's a level of complacency. You know, realistically speaking, Americans here, we've been fortunate. We have our problems, yes, but generally speaking, we eat about 5 hamburgers a piece for every hamburger the rest of the world has. I mean, we have been the land of abundance. And I think that right now our focus in the world, I know myself, I get distracted by YouTube. That's how I even got it. You know what I mean? I mean, everybody needs a comfort zone. And thank God that the people on the phone right now and in this conversation aren't, doing bad things to themselves, and we're at least working in a productive fashion. But I think that everybody needs a place to to sit down and be quiet for a minute and kind of focus. And if they'll do that, a centered understanding. Consensus is what the enemy doesn't want us to have. And that's agreeing upon what we know to be real. And the first opportunity we have to know this is obviously through our eyes. And we're using apparatuses and computers and high-tech stuff, which adds question and doubt. But in our heart, in my heart anyway, I know for a fact that everybody here is doing the right thing. And we're all going to suffer, man. I know that my father's suffering. I've suffered in my life. And, you know, I have my struggles now even. And I'm making a transition here. And I know that, Alex, you have your struggles. And Jeff, you have your struggles. We all struggle. And our listeners are listening to this. And they need to understand that we understand that the struggle is not, they're not by themselves. That this is a universal thing. And if somebody can tell me what those balls are in the clouds, I'd really be a happy guy. I'd be much happier, man.
No, man. You know, I'll tell you what though, people are waking up more and more, and you're seeing these like, I guess it's leaking up more and more that the cause of all these things might be Planet X. And I'm seeing this just creeping out in little places.
Yeah, buddy.
All over the place lately. What about you guys?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. That's all I have to say.
I agree too.
I mean, the images to me are expressing something that is, first of all, I don't particularly in my soul, heart of hearts, and my spidey sense tells me that this is not something man-made. Whatever it is that I'm looking at, I don't like it. And it's not man-made. And like I said, if our governments or whoever you think might have some technological advancement, their trickery, blue beams, harp this, making images in the sky, if you believe that, that's fine. But I'm telling you, they will, you know, look, the Bible says one thing, you know, and this is what we should be expecting is exactly what we're seeing. And who's to say that they haven't circumvented the Bible by making the sun appear like it's still here? Maybe the days of darkness have already passed. You know, there's a whole nother side to this thing and the spiritual side of it. And if we look at that, maybe the science and technology and that whole cabal. I thought I'm telling you, for a few minutes the other day, I looked up at the sky at a chemtrailing plane going above my head. There was two of them. One of them looked just like the shape of a drone, and it was silent. And the other one looked like an airplane. I took a picture, and the drone didn't show up in the picture. The plane did, but not the drone.
Yeah, well, weirdness abounds in the world, right? People aren't comfortable, and people are feeling alone, and people are feeling frustrated, and people are acting out, not knowing why they're acting out, and we've got just a sense of frustration in the whole earth. It just feels like powder keg.
And all of the Planet X listeners and all of the Wormwood Planet X, all these listeners are trying to share what they feel to be true. I'm telling you. Just my people, the people that watch and come to my channel, they all tell me that they're having the hardest time, you know, being recognized as a sane person anymore because they see what they see and they're involved in what they're involved in. You know, spending time on YouTube, chasing this Planet X thing, all the conspiracy theories. They're having the most difficult time sharing what they're so passionately believing in their heart because they spend so much time investigating. I mean, once you research this stuff out, some of those things are irrefutable. Now, the balls in the sky, that's a different deal. I don't know about these balls. I want to know about the balls. If you can tell me what the balls are about in the clouds, that'd be great. But everything else beside that, this is a spiritual situation, everybody. And everybody just, hey, center yourself in Jesus. That's what I said. I made a little video, and it's a prayer in case you don't know how to pray and find Jesus Christ. Go to my site, Relentless Maverick, and check it out. I'm plugging myself because there's some good stuff there that if you haven't seen, you need to look at.
It's okay. It's okay to plug your site here, man. But I just got a note from Naughty Beaver. I want to make sure you saw it, Jeff. But Naughty said that, can you watch my live show? We're going to watch your live show. Naughty Beaver, as soon as I get off this, I watch your show. Naughty Beaver, I love Naughty Beaver. I love Naughty Beaver. But anyway, so he said that that they just posted, they wiped all the photos from our shows. All photos from January 14th are gone. I guess we already talked about that, didn't we, Jeff?
Yeah, we got that.
Right. I mentioned it in my last video. Just go back and watch it. I show you the before and after. They're caught red-handed.
All right. So Naughty Beaver, hopefully you heard that. We definitely talked about that probably before you jumped on. So, but anyway,
I've been in a black hole. I know it's got to be happening. I'm in a black hole. You had to send the invitation how many times, Steve, to get a hold of me?
And I sent it to the same address 5 times to get you on the show. Yeah,
dude, I sent it back 3 times. I'm telling you, I'm sitting in a black hole. My channel's in a hole. I don't know what's going on. It looks normal, but nothing's happening.
Hey, I got a theory on this 3,600-year orbit.
Go ahead.
Let's have it.
Okay, who's to say that we're not our actual solar system is not actually traveling back to the first at the beginning where we are formed, because there are finding all these lot of brown dwarfs. They said they've been here for over 150 years. Who's to say that we've not traveled from one end to the solar system back to the beginning of the solar system where we were formed? It happens every 3,600 years.
Yeah, we spoke about that, Alex. I agree.
Yeah,
that is so plausible. Like we're in the backside. Our galaxy's cruising around back into perihelium again.
Hey, I got another theory that's I've been meditating on for a long time about Planet X and the Anunnaki and everything else.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna put out there. I know people kind of touch on this, but okay. The Anunnaki that in the book of Enoch, he talks about Enoch is talking about the 200 watchers, and these are the fallen ones before they fell. That's why they're watchers. They're watching over humanity, and they rebelled against man. In Genesis 6, they slept with women and gave birth to the giants, and the giants gave birth. It was the offspring of all this was the Anunnaki as just one of the breeds. And before Planet X ever came, I always believed in the Book of Revelation, but Gil Bouchard's the one that came. Now I don't agree with 100% what I have to say, but it did make an excellent tie that everything that the Revelation 6 seal and the 6 seal judgment is a perfect match. The pole shift, the plasma, the still days, the days of darkness, and the meteors, and the hailstones and everything else. So could it be that in the days of Enoch that all these planets are like angelic prisons for these demons? Mm-hmm. And if you go back into the book of Revelation, we hear about that many of these angels and demons are being released for a time and an hour, or for a time and a season, to wreak havoc. So I couldn't help believe, there's another YouTuber, and he said that the Lord had showed him Planet X, and it was a red planet, and they're like these massive armies on this red planet, and I know that. Now remember, these things aren't even like from the same dimension we're in. So whatever this planet's made of, it sounds like some dimensional lockup for these creatures that maybe the CERN Hadron Collider is going to punch a hole through it. I know it's kind of a wild speculation, but it's like, I know it's even beyond our reality. But you remember the movie Star Wars? No. What was that? Superman. Do you remember like the Krypton planet, the evil people got locked up in that environment?
Yeah, they got locked up in those dimensional cages, like.
Right. And a nuclear bomb detonating it, folding their little space, collapsing their thing, and it set them free.
Can I object, gentlemen?
So it's just a thought.
Can everybody take that and man, because I'm right on, dog. Well, if you're talking about spheres trapping spirits, well, what are the odds that all the balls I'm seeing in the clouds happen to be exactly that? Like the little dimensional prisons, and just sitting here standby for, for like God's wrath to come to the planet and to deal with things, and all those souls that haven't been turned over to Jesus Christ. All these I look at it like every ball that I see in the sky has a name with it, an ID that he's supposed to deal with. And that is relevant to a person. And, it says that, man is going to die for fear of what his eyes see. That means you're going into shock, buddy. So
yeah, well, I could, again, if we see like if what you're saying, like if we see a demon ball burst open like a freaking egg, like an egg, incubated egg, and out comes a freaking six-headed demon.
right,
People are
dude.
gonna drop their drawers.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. Now, if you can make sense of the balls in the clouds, then we're good, Jeff.
Yep, I think
We're good. We're right on.
will.
And you're making sense now, because it seems like maybe but listen, because I've looked at this. This is crazy. I know it's crazy, but let's just go with it. Go with it, because I got space footage of the moon where those balls are hanging out there too. Okay, in fact, I have thermal imaging of a sphere painting a chemtrail that is surrounded by the balls. The balls are everywhere. Balls, and more balls. They're everywhere. And I'm not trying to be funny. Take your images and zoom in, baby. Zoom in on screen capture my images and look at those and tell me where the balls are. They're not in the sky. They're in the clouds.
But anyway, things are definitely weird, guys, and we got a great
Sorry, bro. Sorry about that.
Hanging out together with each other.
Sorry, man.
No, I just want to close by just saying, man, it's a good time. Look, I preached. I went out and preached a couple of just little tidbits of what I know. I encourage you guys to go check that out and check out Bobby V and check out Alex Lujan PXU and check out Jeff P and check out all the people that we have in our network. We switch them up every time that I do live shows, guys. You'll see Starshine will be back on again. We'll have all different kinds of people coming back on.
Yeah, everybody say a prayer. Say a prayer. Say a prayer. Say a prayer for Star, because her son, he's a little, he needs he's not well right now, so she needs a little prayer. She's having a little trouble on her end. I don't know if you've talked to her, but I have. Okay. And she's being attacked, So we need to say a nice prayer for her. She must feel better, and her son to feel better. Right on. And for you, Steve, and we're going to say a prayer for you and Matthew and your wife too, buddy. I want everybody to do that, and pray for Jeff P. And pray for Alex, baby Bubba over there, Big Daddy. Hey, I called you, man. You didn't answer the phone today.
We're just sending up the prayer to you right now, big man, and just for all people.
All right.
And
I love you guys.
Before we leave, though, let's go around the table. Any final thoughts, Alex Lujan?
Yeah. My final thought is I want to thank every one of you guys at the panel. It's an honor to be here on you guys. But my main, you can hear me, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Good, man.
Okay. Let's put it this way. I'm not going to be disrespectful to anybody or all that, but let me just put it this way. Hey, Steve, let's just say out of all your 75,000, and let's put Jeff P, your 30,000 subscribers. I'm going to put it this way. 90% of your subscribers are on board. Okay, let's put it that way. Because if they weren't, they won't be following. They won't be there. My main goal is to get that 10% who's not on the goal, just like that shepherd who lost that one flock, who lost that one out of the flock. Let those 90 go ahead and do what they're doing.
Because stragglers, clean up the ones that don't get it.
My main goal, my main mission is to go get those 10% that are on the fence right now. That's my main goal. Yep. I want to be that messenger. I want to be that shepherd. I want to be that shepherd to guide them to the right way.
Wow, man, I love you for that. I love you for that attitude, Alex Lujan. Jeff P, what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. Pray that God that would just give us wisdom to not waste our time with the haters and go after those that are on the fence. And God is going to open up their eyes, and we're going to spend our time on those kind of people. And those are the ones that just keep us motivated to keep going.
Right on. And Bobby, what are your thoughts? Final thoughts?
Okay, my final thought is somebody can explain the balls in the sky. I'll feel much better. And I'm going to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's his name. Okay, so this is what I'm about. And my channel reflects that. And I'm trying to live my life by that, and faith and hope. And that's what we have to give our friends and our neighbors and people that don't believe. And when we get angry because they don't want to see it or hear it, it's a very difficult feeling to process. And I want to just give everybody strength and courage and say, don't worry about it. You're here to tell them and to teach them and to show them, that believe me, this is going to turn out the right way for the people that are listening and for the people that have eyes to see. And I love all of you guys, man. Jeff, you do great work, and Alex and you especially there, buddy. So
yeah, and my final thought is God hates lies. and God hates.
Yeah. Good one, man.
I'm just gonna put it out there, guys. Man, wickedness and lies, all that frustration that you're seeing from all the deception and everything. Listen, God is gonna bring it to an end. Trust me on this. Trust me
I
on.
agree. I agree.
confident.
And if you're riding in the ark with Jesus Christ or with Yeshua, it's the right ark to be in. You're in a good place. Just it's gonna evolve over time, and you're gonna find that people are gonna grow spiritually. God's equipping his people just like the devil's equipping his. But don't you think for 1 minute that we're not going to get weapons too. So you guys, I'll leave you with that thought, and I love you both. I love you all, man. You guys all have a good night.
I love you.
Matt,
Love y'all. Have a great night. All right.
All right.
Bless you guys all. Bless you guys.